Good day, everybody. This is BA Radiant Dawn, and I welcome you guys to the next episode of Theorycraft, where I take the time to predict what the next banners might be. So, the last time I did one of these, I was actually kind of on the dot for some things. I guessed Tharja, I guessed Three Houses, so, I didn't do half bad, I think. So, this Theorycraft video is going to be for the Fallen banner, which could be coming up, the trailer could be coming up this month, or it could also be a banner that's coming out in May. Because if I recall correctly, the first Fallen banner came out in February, and the second and third came out in May, or something like that. So, yeah. I have a handful of units I'm going to take a look at. There will be spoilers for, let's see what games. Shadows of Valentia, Three Houses, Sacred Stones, Radiant Dawn / Path of Radiance, and anything Archanea. So basically 3/4 of the games that have ever been made for Fire Emblem, so heads up. Anyway, let's get going. So if you don't want to get spoiled, you've got 5 seconds to jam out and then leave, or all that fun stuff, right? Okay, so, first person on my list of Faith Theorycraft for the Fallen units is Duma. So I actually haven't played Shadows of Valentia myself, but I know the general storyline. So the whole purpose of what everything that happens is in Valentia, in Shadows of Valentia / Gaiden, is because Emperor Rigel basically does not trust Duma. Duma commands him to do stuff, he's like, this guy's kind of sketchy. Because he believes that Duma lost his mind, which he pretty much did. So, that's my first guess for, the new Fallen banner. If I were to take a guess at what he'd be, he'd still be an armored dragon. He'd play pretty solo. If he ends up having a personal skill, he might end up getting a skill kinda like his, C slot, but it might deal, a little bit more damage. He might be tankier as well, because, Duma as a mythic is kind of lackluster these days. He doesn't really do much, so yeah, I'm thinking if they do that, they might give him this encounter, they might make him tankier, slower, guaranteed follow-up, maybe a solo unit, probably. Next one we're moving on to is Dimitri. So, why Dimitri? Well, for anyone that's played Three Houses, it's kind of obvious. Dimitri loses his frickin' mind. So a Fallen Dimitri would make sense. He'd still be a lance unit. He didn't have his legendary weapon here, so I wonder what weapon he would be using. As for how he might play, he's still going to be an infantry lance unit for sure. He's definitely going to be solo because in this cutscene he literally slaughters everybody by himself. And Byleth walks up the path to him, just passes dozens of bodies on their way up to see him. But yeah, Fallen Dimitri would make so much sense, and I'm not sure how they would manage to power creep Dimitri and make him more of a solo player, I guess. Because let's see here. Yeah, give him attacks. I think they would make him a speed unit because he has to be fast to counteract and interact with all these enemies, right? So he's going from stabbing one guy, pulling out the lance, slashing the next one. He's got to be fast to do that. So I think he's going to be an attack speed tank. He'll probably have a damage reduction, and his artwork would be mint. The next one is Sacred Stones, and it's our boy Orson. So Orson's tale is he's got a wife who died, and she was brought back by Reeve under the condition that Orson betrays Renee and pretty much everyone he's ever known, and he does it. And the scene that follows is probably it's definitely up there in the most disturbing scenes Fire Emblem has to offer, because she basically becomes a mindless zombie. They're just dear, 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 dear. Like, it's freaking creepy. And the sight of her is so bad, Ephraim has to escort his sister outside because he doesn't want her to see this. And then him and Seth kill the zombie thing. So yeah, a Fallen Orson, it's gonna happen. If we got Fallen Berkut, we have to get Fallen Orson too. And his artwork's gonna be awesome as well, because he could like have the same kind of setup where like, except instead of a wife that's on fire, his wife could be a zombie, and that would be wicked. Lance Cav, probably solo as well. Probably maybe something like Betrayer's Lance or something, because he not only betrayed his kingdom, but he did it to bring back the love of his life. He's a freaking zombie. Maybe effectiveness against like beasts or something, or he grants bonuses to beasts, because I don't know, zombie beast is not too far off, I guess. But yeah, that's how I could see him playing. He'd probably get like special trigger cooldown, maybe like kind of like an enhanced javelin, so he'd like have close counter or distant counter or close counter, and it could be like a lance. I don't know. Next up, this is a unit that, if done correctly, is gonna be an absolute powerhouse. Morum. So for those that don't know, in Radiant Dawn, Morum gets given a drug that turns him into a feral one. Basically turns him into a mindless, insane beast. He does get out of it. We don't actually get to fight him as a feral one, but he was transformed into one in the storyline. So it kind of makes sense for him to be a fallen unit, because for that brief, like, little bit, until he was returned back to normal, he basically was a fallen unit. So, like, it's an obvious thing. He's not in the game yet, just like Orson. And, I can see him being like a blue beast unit. He probably get hella good buffs when he's by himself and when he's, like, transformed. Because as it is, beast units transform if they are next to a dragon or beast ally, or not next to anyone. So they play really well solo. He'd probably have middling speed, but he'd be an absolute attack defense god, depending on which version they went with. Because in Path of Radiance, I actually think he's better in Path of Radiance because of more screen time, but he can be better in Radiant Dawn because he's just built better, honestly, in my opinion. But it could go either way with him. But yeah, basically the main gimmick of all these Fallen units is solo. They like to play solo, they like to be solo. They get buffs when they're solo, so solo beast or solo dragon would just be so easy to do, honestly. Sorry, there's something bugging my eye at the moment. Also from the Tellius games, this is Rajion. So for those who don't know, Rajion is Anna's husband. He is the son, he's the eldest son of the Dragon King Deginsia, brother to Kurthnaga, and I can't remember her name right now. Almeida. And yeah, he was turned into a feral one, and Ashnard used him as a common wyvern mount to make himself more powerful. Which is interesting because we actually had fallen Ashnard in the last banner. So I think a fallen Rajion would be like freaking perfect, because it would tie into the previous banner, and he was transformed into a feral one as well. And then tamed, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Flying Dragon, for sure. I want to say maybe like a colorless Flying Dragon, because he's absolutely insane, so it kind of makes sense. Same with Duma. Duma would be colorless armored dragon, but the Rajion would be colorless flying, so I'm curious to see. He might actually be a Tempest Trial to match Ashnard, but I don't think they'd give us a free dragon. A free flying dragon. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it'd be interesting if it did. Now the next two, actually I'm going to save one for last because it's only Cypher. It's Cypher only for this one. I don't think there's storyline stuff to it. It's just based off of Cypher art, which I think is sick. So the next one is Elise, Marth's sister from the Archanea games. So in Fire Emblem 3/12, so that's Mystery of the Emblem and New Mystery of the Emblem, she's an enemy in the final chapter. She's controlled by Garna for a ritual to revive Medius, along with Maria, Nina, and Lena, according to a good friend of mine. Anyway, shout out to Blake Blast. Thanks for the info, buddy. I really wanted to see if I could delve into the different characters a little bit further, so I haven't played either of those games, so I didn't know that she was in Final Boss, which is kind of cool, actually. But yeah, so, she gets mind controlled. Typically, mind control units are put into Fallen banners, so it just works. And the last one we're going to be talking about is our boy. Now, if you can tell who this is just by looking at him, congrats! For those that can't, this is Ritz. Remember that old healer dude from FE1 and I don't know what other games and Shadow Dragon and I don't know what else? Yeah, this is him, except he's pissed. Clearly, he'd be an axe unit, an axe infantry. He'd probably have super high speed and attack, decent defense, super low res. But yeah, I don't know if I can't remember if there's a reason why he's depicted this way in a cipher card. Oh, sure. I just think it's kind of interesting that he is depicted this way in a cipher card. I actually have this cipher card. He looks freaking awesome. So yeah, those are my guesses for who could be on the Fallen banner. In order of likeliness, I'd say Duma, Dimitri, Orson, and Moram are the most likely, with one of the other three as a Tempest Trial or a GHB. I forget which one Ashnar was. I think Ashnar was a GHB, but it doesn't matter. They're both freebies anyway. But yeah, our freebie would probably be Elise or Riss. Rajayon could be put in the place of Duma. Yeah, Duma, Dimitri, Orson, Moram. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts on the upcoming Fallen banner? It might be dropping in a little over 3 hours, or it might be dropping like 2 months from now. Who knows? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Again, tell me your thoughts. I want to know what you think will be on this banner. And until next time, this is B Radiant Dawn, signing off. See you, everybody.